Hi, let's take a look at Uncanny X-Men issue 5 today, written by Gail Simone, drawn by David Marquez, and colored by Matthew Wilson. Full spoilers ahead, so you're forewarned. This is sort of a mixed issue for me. On one hand, it explains a lot of what's happening with Rogue and some of her weird mind powers over the past couple of issues. Um, and there might be something else happening with her. On the other hand, I'm not sure how the heck is defeated that easily. Especially when she took down Wolverine and Rogue single-handedly. Uh, while I do not want to see her pull out Rogue's hair and scalp, it also doesn't kind of explain why the heck just stopped. Hi, Future Tyler here. I feel like we're getting only part of Sarah's story here. Yes, she lied to Xavier. That part we guessed and is confirmed here. She lost a son, as seen in last issue. That was real. But we do not quite know how she became the Hag. And I agree, we do not know how Harvey X actually helped Rogue stop her, perhaps by overwhelming her with her own guilt and misery. It is a bit of a letdown after the build up of how powerful she was in the previous issues. I was genuinely surprised to see Harvey X. Initially, I thought that was like Xavier before the reveal. But I also is kind of puzzled as to how he has a healing factor and still dies of cancer, and what exactly are his powers? Not so low level precog and telepathy with a healing factor? There are a couple of questions here, but let's dig a little deeper into, say, Harvey X visions first. We have a female Cyclops in an X-Men uniform. Could that be a chimera? Or his daughter from another alternate future timeline? We have Kurt with like four arms, and Colossus apparently bleeding out, which does not make sense since he does not bleed out in the armor form. From an attacked by mechanical hell house of some sort. And the best thing of all, young Magneto. Yes, is that the weakened Max in X-Men a clone or a duplicate, or will he fully heal? Definitely a yes for the last one. Now, Harvey X also saw the baby mutant's death, which he said will happen if they do not have protection. So he changed that future by directing them to the X-Men, which also suggests that his own death was preventable. So why did he not change that? Let's put aside the healing factor for a while. I mean, on the reread, I think Harvey X needed to make a choice. He could perhaps save himself or prolong his life with his healing factor, but to do so meant not giving some or all of his powers to Rogue, and that will have a cascading effect of the baby mutants and perhaps Rogue dying at the hand of the Hag. He chose to sacrifice himself. So in some ways, that is one of the most X-Men things he could have done, but it also requires us, the reader, to take that leap of logic, especially with the bit about his healing factor, with the ability to heal the wounds inflicted upon Rogue, but not his own cancer. There is also one thing that does not sit quite well with me on the first read, like how the senior X-Men allowed the baby mutants to join the fight instead of like keeping them in reserve and in relative safety. Except maybe Ransom since he cannot die, or Death Dream since he's dead half the time. Yeah, I mean that part is maybe more of an issue with the flow of the story. We saw everyone ran towards the Hex horde, and then after some fight scenes, Kurt warned the baby mutants to run if things go south. I feel like that should have happened, before they all ran towards the Hex horde. Yeah, I agree. And then you have Jitter saying, "You stare, what stare?" That is a very Singaporean way of saying what are you staring at in a confrontational way? I mean, grammatically, it is wrong, like most Singlish, but it came about from a direct translation of the Mandarin version of that phrase, and I like the usage here. Rabak, though, is the one that I'm not familiar with. It could be that I don't use it within my circles of friends, or that it is a recent thing and only became common knowledge after I moved to America 20 years ago. So I kind of like Jubilee's voice here and her loyalty to X-Men and Logan especially. Though I'm not too sure about the soldier bit. I mean, I guess we could view the X-Men as soldiers, but I'm glad that she also, later said that she viewed them as family. One small bit of complaint. I wish there was a scene of Jubilee talking about Shogo, even though it is probably about a day or two in the books since Jubilee rejoined the team in issue 2. So, maybe I'll give that a pass. Any other thoughts regarding the writing? Yes. One minor question is how did Wolverine know Rogue was taking diction lessons? But more importantly, and I think related to the something else happened to her bit I mentioned earlier, I'm hoping that this is not Rogue hating herself. I mean, we had gone down that road. We are past that. So maybe let's not revisit that. Agree. And a bit of a nitpick. I'm not sure Logan would say that STD line, which is really out of place, even though it is a bit of a light moment. I had a laugh though when Gambit took Chelsea's valuable collectible cards as ammo, and Death Dream and Jitter just like, well, maybe we'll tell him later. Like Marcus told on X-Force, we have 5.5 straight issue of Marquez beautiful art. Well, 6 if we count the free comic book day issue as a half issue. I mean, the art is still beautiful, especially the faces and the hair. I especially like Rogues and Jubilees in this issue. Some of the designs, like Ransom with the grifter face cloth and Calico turning into Flame Juggernaut, I mean, I love those. And characters are still expressive. um, I love Harvey's and Rogue's expressions, and we get some pretty good fight scenes. I feel like in this issue, Marquez cheated a little bit with all of Sarah's minion being drawn in shadow form, but I mean that is just a really minor complaint. There is, however, a distinct lack of background for most of this issue compared to the previous issues. The colors actually made up for the lack of background with some very nice watercolor-like painting to set the mood, be it like the pink purplish sky, the warm yellows and oranges from Ember's fire, um, and the neonish lights when Jubilee used her powers. I like this issue, but I think not as much as you do. Yeah, I mean, I like it more on the reread, and I would rate it a 3.75 out of 5. The reason it's got lower than the previous issues is that the easy way the hag was taken down after the build-up as to how powerful she was, and some other leaps of logic needed with Harvey X. The art and colors continue to impress, even if there's a distinct lack of background details. So if you enjoyed this video, please remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you have not already done so. Please share this with your friends and leave us a comment. Thanks, and Tyler out.